We are the Columbus Chew. This is our Week 10 matchup versus Cybertron, Aaron, and the Melbourne Rotoms. Today, as you can see, we have brought Mega Gardevoir, Physically Defensive Weezing, Physically Defensive Calm Mind Manaphy, Specially Defensive Celebi, and Dual Scarfers of Sneasel and Excadrill. You can see Aaron has prepped a fully functioning rain team. We've prepped well for this, and hopefully our team will be able to edge out his in the end. We're going to lead with Gardevoir, try to get our Mega up turn 1 to see what he would do, thinking maybe he would set up rain first turn. That is not the case. He leads with Kartana, and we trace the Beast Boost. Not wanting to stay in and take a Steel type attack, we switch out into Weezing, which can eat any physical hit from this. He chooses to substitute turn 1 and goes for a Leaf Blade on Weezing, which does very little damage. Weezing is packing the Flamethrower, and we will get that 4 times super effective hit on the Kartana, breaking its sub instantly. Weezing is not afraid of this, and knowing that he's going to be forced to switch out, we choose to go for a Will-O-Wisp, burning whatever may come in. We land the Will-O-Wisp, and the Pelipper will slowly be losing its health. It becomes burned. At this point, we don't know if it is leftovers, as the leftovers activate before the damage from burn. Pelipper is switched out and Kingdra is switched in. At this point, we also switch out, fearing the incoming Hurricane and or Surf, and go directly into Manaphy. Kingdra is going to use Hidden Power, which at this point could be Grass or Electric, and we will set up a Calm Mind thinking this would switch out or go for a Draco Meteor. If that were the case, after the +1 in his -2 drop, he would have to crit us in order to KO with our investment. Out comes the Draco Meteor, and after the +1, this is not going to do a whole heck of a lot of damage, and we are just going to rest, and because the rain has been set up, the hydration will cure us, and we will end the turn at full health at +1 in special attack and special defense. The rain is still up. He is going to switch out this turn. We do have the Ice Beam, and he is going to switch in Ludicolo. Based off the damage that this doesn't take from a +1 Ice Beam, I believe this to be an Assault Vest Ludicolo. We never see an item activate throughout the rest of the match, so I am going to believe that is what it is. It only uses attacks. It goes for the Giga Drain there. We switch in our specially defensive Celebi. Even if it chooses to Ice Beam us, we are rocking the Yache Berry. We can gauge how much damage this will do and know whether or not we can take another one. After the Yache Berry, that does fairly pathetic damage, and we are able to set up our rocks, which is going to limit the viability of him making constant switches. He is going to go for the Ice Beam here. That does prove to do less than half, and we can just recover off the damage. Unfortunately, we don't have leftovers, but the Yache Berry made it very possible for us to take 2 of those without any fear of repercussion. Now that the rain is down, we are faster than Ludicolo, so we can Giga Drain in this thing's face. Pelipper is going to take damage from the incoming Stealth Rocks as it switches in. And as stated, we can just Giga Drain. He does not have a resist on his team. Get a critical hit there, which is rather unfortunate for him, because this is going to put him at the range after another attack that he cannot switch. Well, actually, at this point, he cannot switch back in without dying to Stealth Rocks at this point, I believe. Kartana is going to come out here. We do just go for another Giga Drain. And considering that is 4 times resisted, that still does a ton of damage to this Kartana, whose special defense is paper thin heal. Swampert is switched out here, guessing that we would go for the hidden power fire if we had it, or would be switching out. We just go straight out into Wheezing, which is our answer to Kartana every single time, because we just switch out, eat a hit, and burn whatever wants to come in. He chooses to switch in Kingdra here. We are going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. The burn plus the Life Orb attacks are going to kill this thing so fast. Here we are going to switch out, again, not wanting to take a Draco Meteor to the face. And we are just going to go into Arbiter, thinking the Surf or the possible Draco Meteor is incoming, but he does go for the Ice Beam, possibly predicting the incoming Celebi to take a water type attack. But again, we are in the cycle where Arbiter just sits in the face of this. He will opt to go for Draco Meteor this turn. It is going to do a ton of damage as we are not at +1 this turn. And we are just going to go for the Ice Beam to get damage on this. Not quite enough to take it out, but we'll put it in the range where more attacks from him are going to be very unfortunate. And just taking him out with Life Orb and Burn. We are going to switch out into Dirge here, believing he will go for another Draco Meteor, which we are immune to. And we trace the Swift Swim, which is amazing. He does go for the Draco Meteor, and will hang on with the smallest sliver of health. We're just going to set up a Wish here, because even with the rain boosted Hydro Pump at -2 special attack, that will put us at a range where the Wish will put us in back to full health. So Pelipper comes back out, unfortunately does not have enough health to survive the Stealth Rocks, which is fortunate for us because he will not be able to reset the rain. Out comes Mimikyu. We are going to Mega up here, thinking it was possible he would set up the Swords Dance this turn. While his disguise is intact, we stay in and go for the Hyper Voice, but he does go for the Sneak Attack, and we see that it is Life Orb. That wasn't enough to take out Dirge. That was a miscalculation. We go out into Miasma. He is going to be forced to switch out, not wanting to get burnt. Ludicolo is going to come out, the Will-O-Wisp is going to go, and we have hit every Will-O-Wisp we've gone for this match, which is relatively insane. So again, Ludicolo is just slowly going to be whittled down by this burn without the ability to recover outside of Giga Drain. We are going to switch back out into Ruin. Even if he hits us with the Ice Beam, which he does not, he goes for the safe Scald play. He does not snag a burn. And we are just going to be able to just start Giga Draining things. And that is exactly what we do. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is going to help us slowly whittle this thing down, as this Ludicolo is one of the last things that stand in the way of some of our Mons running through the rest of his team. Again, Ludicolo is going to take that hit very well. He's going to switch back out into Kartana to take the incoming attack, but we do just recover, as we would be able to recover stall as he is slowly burnt. Not wanting to stay in, as this thing has the possibility to pack the X-Scissor, we are just going to go back out into the Wheezing here, and he does reveal the X-Scissor, which we resist, and does again very little damage to this Wheezing, who is just crapping all over his physical attackers. He's going to switch out into Swampert here, which is a relatively questionable play, as again we can just burn this thing after it gets one attack on us. I don't believe at this range 2 waterfalls, should he get the turn 1 flinch, will even be enough to knock us out. So we will be just going for the Will-O-Wisp. He is going to go for the waterfall. I don't know if he was hoping that he would be able to whittle us down to a point where he could easily revenge us with something else, but we are just going to get the burn on this thing, which is going to make our lives much, much easier. At this point, there isn't really a benefit of us staying in and attacking this. We are just going to go into Arbiter. He's going to waterfall. That isn't going to be enough to take us out. And again, with the burn, that does very, very little damage. We are at a point where we can rest to get back up to full health, and there isn't much that this Swampert can do to us. He is going to make the bold, aggressive play right here, going into the Mimikyu. We do rest, and this puts us at a disadvantage. Because the rain is not up, we have to rest for the full 2 turns. And we are going to have to make a switch of our own here, which is going to allow him to set up a free Swords Dance. Now, he is still sitting there with his disguise intact, but Miasma at this range can still take any non-crit from this. He is going to go for the Shadow Claw, which is a high critical hit ratio attack, and once I saw the health going down beyond what was about 50%, I knew that that was going to have to be a crit. But this gives us the opportunity to go out into Irreverent, which doesn't give a crap about anything's ability, and is just going to Earthquake this thing square in the face and take it out. I'm not sure if he was not predicting the Scarf, or if he thought he had the investment to survive, but I don't believe even with fully defensive investment it would have lived an Earthquake at that range, or he missed the Mold Breaker activation. We are going to switch out into Celebi for this Ludicolo, which we anticipate to just go for Ice Beam, but again, unless he freezes us, we can take these Ice Beams for days and just recover as he is slowly whittled down by the burn. And that is exactly what we are going to do, because we need this ruin to be as high a health as possible, not wanting to play too terribly risky. And all we have to do at this point is click the, or after this turn, we are just going to click the Giga Drain should he choose to stay in, because we know for a fact that the damage we will do will be more than enough to take him out, and even if we were to recover, he is just going to Ice Beam us again, and we will still be at this range. So we're just going to go for the Giga Drain to get the kill on this Ludicolo. Unfortunately, that does take the kill away from the Wheezing, which would have been benefited from the burn kill at that point. Kartana is going to come back out here, and without Wheezing, we don't have a super awesome switch into this, but we're going to go into Irreverent, and unless he chooses outright to go for the fighting type attack, we will be able to come in, break his substitute because we are faster, and then revenge it with anything we choose afterwards. The Earthquake is going to break his substitute every day, all day, and twice on Sunday, which coincidentally was the day we battled. And in fact, that does break the substitute. We are going to see the Z all-out pummeling here, which is not needed at this point, and I was a little surprised he didn't save it, because even with the investment we have, we are running just enough speed to outspeed his fastest Mon with the Scarf. And the all-out pummeling would have done about, I think it was 90% to 100 damage from the average Kartana Smart Strike attack. So the fact that he used his Z move there was a little surprising. I don't know if it was style points at that, but he is at +1 attack. We are, again, Scarfed Sneasel, and at this point we can just go for foul play all day long and that is going to just destroy anything that chooses to come in. That is enough to finish a Swampert at that range, who has ridiculously high base attack. And here comes Kartana, who also has ridiculously high base special attack. And this foul play will be more than enough to take it out. So the Columbus Chew coming out with their first victory in their GBA campaign to expose the corruption of the GBA with a 3-0 victory over Cybertron. Please go and check him out. He is an amazing VGC player who is crossing over into the draft format. He has a pretty good rain team, but we just had really good checks for what he brought this week. Go check him out. We are the Columbus Chew.